We all know that Tommy Robinson is planning to go back to Walthamstow and in particular show there the film Innocence of Muslims, which has got people killed all over the world. I'm going to explain in 12 separate points why this is a disastrously bad idea. First point is that this is going to help build the far left. It's going to help them recruit, it's going to make them more confident. This lesson was learnt by real nationalists 35 years ago at Lewisham. The National Front was entitled to march in Lewisham back in 1977 because more than 40% of local people there had just voted nationalist. How many native Londoners are even left today in Walthamstow? Last time I was there, it looked more like Karachi than part of my home city. Going back there, even with more warning, is a wet dream for the Reds. They were being beaten. They were being demoralised by larger EDL numbers. But Tommy's pro-Zionist antics, his republicanism and his other failings have done the EDL so much damage that it's now far weaker than the Reds. So whoever goes there, the EDL are going to be outnumbered and the Reds are going to benefit. Last time they were laughing about EDL members having to relieve themselves in the midst of their kettled crowd while under constant bombardment with abuse and missiles. Inflicting that kind of humiliation excites the Reds, it makes them more confident, it'll get more of them there, it will build them. This is madness. The EDL simply can't get the numbers. As I said, Tommy's Zionism, his Irish republicanism, the expulsions, the rumours about money going astray have all put too many people off. Tommy's now begging for the infidels and others to come back. All is forgiven, he says. But is it? By the many good people he's slagged off, the people that he's threatened? We'll see. But everyone knows that Tommy's staked what's left of his leadership and reputation on Walthamstow too. And he shouldn't be surprised that most of the real lads he's hoping will turn up just to save his porky bacon are saying that Tommy's made his bed and should be left to lie in it alone with his Zionist friends. The second point is that this will further radicalise Muslims, especially young Muslims, and it will unite them, making them even more dangerous to us and our country. Not all Muslims are bad. They aren't all a menace. Lots of them are just ordinary, decent people wanting to go about their life. But this will make more of them hate us and want in some way to hurt and punish our people in our streets. Not just Tommy or me, but innocent lads on the streets, innocent passengers on other tube trains, or youngsters at some nightclub they'll bomb. Not just in Walthamstow that evening, but all over Britain. My constituents in towns like Preston and Blackburn and Pendle will be put at greater risk, just like white communities all over the country, just for the sake of Tommy's ego. It's not right, is it? The third reason why Walthamstow is mad is that it'll put the public off. It's clearly and deliberately provocative. When the EDL started parading on our streets defending homecoming parades with the soldiers, the public understood that and they agreed with it, they admired it, they were on side. But going into a multicult hellhole like Walthamstow, because a few extremists have called for Sharia there, will be seen, quite rightly, as troublemaking. It'll put the public off. The fourth reason is that the amount of trouble the plan's going to cause if it goes ahead is going to scare people, everyone who sees it. The Muslims and the Reds are going to win. That's guaranteed. The police will be on their side and they'll have the numbers. But the trouble it causes will encourage the British establishment, especially the police, to have further appeasement of the Muslim mobs. It simply isn't common sense politics. It isn't common sense street organisation. It's sheer madness. The fifth point is that it'll be a shocking waste of effort and money that could be directed to something useful. Something on my 12-point plan list, for example. Tommy complained bitterly the other week about people asking for their money back after Walthamstow won. But why should those people pay hard-earned money to go back to be kettled, abused, humiliated and arrested for no good reason all over again? The simple reason is there is no good reason and that they won't do it. Point 6. This plan, if it goes ahead, will give the government and the police the excuse they need to change the law to give them the power to ban static demos, which is our last bit of free expression, and they're going to take it away, using this as the excuse. The sheer irresponsibility of Tommy's plan will also alienate the many rank-and-file police officers, especially on demos outside London, who've been on side. You know, the ones who quietly say, "Good on you, lads." They're going to see the trouble that Tommy's plan will cause, and that sympathy will evaporate. So more people will get beaten, more people will get arrested at future demos. And all for what? For Tommy's ego and Tommy's wallet. The seventh reason is that it's risking lives of people who go on the day for no good purpose. Chris Adamson was killed in 1976, stabbed to death for attending a nationalist march. Clive Sharp in 1979 was stabbed to death for attending a nationalist march in London. Both those boys were 17. Good people get killed on demonstrations like that. When huge mobs are wound up for no good reason, that's what happens. I've been on confrontational demos in the past, just as many as Tommy, in fact, if not more. I know they're exciting, but is a bit of excitement worth seeing your mate die for? Worth seeing some 17-year-old kid buried for? It's not worth it, especially when there's not the faintest chance that the demo in question will do anything to advance the cause in any way. Point 8 is the Muslim anger now being generated all over the world over the plan to show the Mohammed film trailer means that even if EDL numbers do go up a bit, they're going to be hugely outnumbered. That means the police will have no choice but to arrest and kettle them in order to avoid sheer mayhem. That's not a possibility, it's a simple fact. Everybody who goes there is going to be wasting their time, causing trouble for no good reason. Point 9 is that showing that film, that Mohammed film, isn't what the EDL was formed to do or what Britain needs. In both cases, that's opposing Islamisation here in Britain, not winding up every Muslim in the country and on the planet. We all need to be campaigning for things like the public inquiry on Muslim paedophile noncing our young girls. That's the sort of issue that's worth getting arrested for if we have to. But showing a film just to offend Muslims all over the world, it's completely pointless, it's counterproductive. This is madness. The 10th point, and this one is really serious, at least I think so, is that if that film is shown, even if there's serious talk of it being shown in Walthamstow, and incidentally I don't for 1 minute believe that the police will allow Tommy and his little group to put up the big screen they need to show it. But if it is shown, or there's talk of it being shown, it will drastically increase the risk to our soldiers serving in Afghanistan, serving in places like that. Tommy, for the sake of our lads and lasses out in Afghanistan, see sense and back down, or there'll be coffins coming back to Britain under Union Jacks, directly thanks to you and your stupidity. The 11th point is this whole scheme plays into the hands of the neocon and Zionist lobby by further winding up confrontation between the West and the Muslim world on our streets and further afield. I've already explained in the previous video why that's being done, who's doing it, and how Tommy and his Zionist clique are just one little part of this. So the facts are out there. Take a look at them again and understand that Tommy is just doing the same thing for that same group. It's in their interests, it's in the interests of the Zionists and the neocons. It's not in the interests of ordinary people in the streets of Britain. It's not in the interests of our freedoms. The final point is that by threatening to show, and possibly by showing that film, it completely abandons the moral high ground. And yes, we do have the moral high ground. We're insulted when Anjem Choudhury and his Islamist thugs abuse our soldiers and burn our poppies. If they ever try to do that again, we must be ready to stop them. But it's completely wrong for Tommy to propose to insult every Muslim man, woman and child in the planet, not even by way of a threat to deter a group of Muslim extremists from carrying out some threat that would hurt our people. That might be fair enough. But he's doing it just to try to get a few more hundred bodies onto his demo and to get publicity for his joke political party. Yes, we must always stand up for free speech. But let's stand up for free speech that matters and then use it to say things that make a difference. The right to upset hundreds of millions of innocent Muslims is not a right worth paying for with the shocking costs I've outlined. The right to speak out and campaign effectively to protect young girls from Muslim grooming gangs is worth fighting for. The right to speak out and campaign for the victims of anti-English racist attacks is worth fighting for. The right of British civil rights campaigners to speak out about the dangers posed by the appeasement of Islam by the establishment without being kettled by the police or sacked from their jobs is worth fighting for. But Tommy's harebrained plans for Walthamstow won't help secure any of those rights. In fact, as I've explained, and as so many people clearly already understand, his ridiculous piece of posturing will only weaken those rights and damage our cause. The shame of it is that there are so many good, effective and constructive things that could be done. So many good, effective and constructive things that can be done. So let's drop the Walthamstow lunacy and get to work putting into practice the dozen positive proposals I put forward in the fourth part of my earlier video. Even Tommy's few remaining followers agree that my proposals in that are really good. So let's not waste any more time, get in touch and get active, because together the Patriots of Britain can get things done.